I've been honored to stand with my community, including many residents here in Southbridge Towers. We stood up against the out-of-scale Seaport Tower, and we came together and we were successful in defeating it. I have stood with you shoulder to shoulder and strongly against overdevelopment. And we have fought to preserve the South Street Seaport Museum. We have fought for a school in the South Street Seaport development successfully. And so I am somebody who will stand with the community for the things that we as a community need when we have new development, especially in the South Street Seaport district. That's been my record, and I will continue to make sure that our needs are represented in this development as it moves forward.
Thank you. Alice?
Sure. Living here and knowing my community, I've been drafting some legislation to make sure that our seaport stays historic. Because these are the fine points in our community. When you have people that come in to our district, which we have a lot of foot traffic from a lot of tourists who want to know what our areas look like and what they mean. To me, keeping historic the South Side, Southbridge, South Street means a lot to me. And that's not only the only areas. We have a lot of Rivington. We have a lot of Delancey, which is a lot of historic areas that I want to keep and I want to preserve for my grandchildren who are now here in my community. Thank you.
Thank you. Gigi?
So I stood up and fought against Seaport City, which some of you may remember was sort of the predecessor to the conversation of Howard Hughes developing in the Seaport. But I think the answer to your question really talks about smart development and also talks about having a community-based driven process of what the residents here want to see in their neighborhood. And to that effect, Community Board 1 has guiding principles that they have put together and that they support in showing what they would like to see as the future of their neighborhood. That is the same model that Community Board 3 used in designing a large-scale development at the base of the Williamsburg Bridge, Essex Crossing, which I had the honor and privilege to work on, that brings both infrastructure, schools, community amenities, a public park. And so that is a process that I would like to see replicated for any development that is proposed down here in the Seaport area.
Thank you. Yu-Lin?
So one of the biggest things, living down here, we really have a lot of things that we are looking at right now. I go to CV1 all the time. We look and talk about, how we have this, how we want community-based development to look, in especially the South Street Seaport area. The South Street Seaport area is literally where we go and watch outdoor movies, where we go and dance, where we go and have a lot of amazing food and hang out with all our friends and go to the Haagen-Dazs. And so, this is where a lot of our families are during the summertime. And so, when we are talking about the South Street Seaport and preserving it, I think that making particular parts of it historical is really important because that will preserve some of the character. CV1 has a really detailed plan on what they want to do, and I'm very, very supportive of that plan. And I think that we have to fight over development in that area. There's a constant request for growth there. And there also needs to be clear communications on how we can make sure that people can get back onto their feet, because right now they're still suffering from what happened with Hurricane Sandy. Some of the businesses still haven't even gotten some of their storefronts back, for example. So these are things that we need to all work on together.
Thank you. John?
So Essex Crossing took 40 years. So any kind of process, that's a process that I don't want to support at all, right? It's about just basically luxury housing and assuming that there are few more people in need for public housing than a lot more people of luxury housing. I worked and developed the plan that reformed the Fulton Fish Market. So it's very near and dear to me. I spent 6 months there just to analyze the system. At night, you know, it's amazing to see how fish get delivered for 100 some odd years. We need to preserve the South Street Seaport because of historic value.
A lot of letters and documents for it, and I'm proud to be part of it, and I am proud of the success that we have had in beating back out-of-scale development in this beautiful neighborhood. And we're going to continue, we're going to win, and what is built there is going to include our neighborhood's wishes. More broadly, we need to make sure that the way the state of New York and the city of New York interact with development projects is one which recognizes the actual power relationship. And the fact is, those developers need us more than we need them. They are going to build projects that are going to make a lot of money. We have the right, we have the regulatory authority and a compelling interest to demand that these kind of projects are in scale with our community, that are additive in terms of resources that we need, be that schools, housing, or in this case, support for the Seaport Museum. We can do better when we have a government that actually responds to New Yorkers.
Thank you very much.